Welcome back to Dynasty Football Maniacs. I cannot believe we're already in week 6. To me, football has had more injuries than previous years, but I know a lot of that is probably the concussion protocol, that whole deal about that. I mean, in the past, that was a big thing. Then it kind of developed over the years, and now it's become a major thing and a major impact to fantasy. I mean, I know 2 players that are outstanding right now that are on concussion protocol. Well, 3. I mean, Tua, Marvin Harris, Malik Neighbors, and the list could probably go on and on if I wanted to all night, but we're not going to do that.
Right.
We are going to talk about this. What a week. What a week. All right. So this last week we had bye weeks for the Chiefs, the Rams, Dolphins, and the Vikings. Thank God the Chiefs are off. I didn't have to listen to none of that crap. All right. So
Well, they
starting
come
out.
they come back this week, so you are gonna have to listen to it now.
Yeah, and while we're on that subject, for week 7, you guys need to pay attention. I had a couple people in my leagues and other leagues. I run multiple leagues. Are not paying attention, and they had a guy on bye and they missed it. Hey, you got to pay attention. If your guy is on bye, you got to
And,
change him out.
well, that's on them.
Yeah, I know, but so this week not so bad. Only 2 teams, and really, I don't know if you're really getting anything out of these 2 teams: the Bears and Cowboys.
Hey, the Bears.
They
You
looked pretty
know,
good this past week.
I mean, I know they're playing against Jacksonville or whatever, but I mean,
That was
that's
his
still pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, that was his best game. So starting off with just, and I'm gonna do these quick today. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on them.
Well, we got a lot. We got a lot to talk about for
Yeah, a
this.
lot to unfold. So the first one that hit Thursday on the 10th, you had the 49ers against the Seahawks. 49ers held that down 36-24. Brock Purdy threw for 3 touchdowns and I mean just manhandled the Seahawks. I picked the Seahawks to win, and I got that one wrong. But Geno Smith had a great time out there. I mean, he threw for 312 yards, had 1 touchdown. The running back, Granado, had 10 carries and 99 yards. Samuel, 3 receptions, 102 yards, and 1 touchdowns. Finally, he's putting up some points. And then you go into the Browns and the Eagles, both hot messes, but it was a good game, 20-16, I guess.
Well, I mean, I will say that the Browns look far worse, so I think the Eagles are okay.
Yeah, with AJ Brown returning, it looked a lot better. Barkley actually had a quiet night. I mean, 18 carries, 47 yards. He wasn't like, I'm
Well, I
the
mean,
guy.
even though the Browns' offense is a hot mess, their defense is still pretty good.
Then we get into the Bengals and the Giants. Malik Neighbors still out. Daniel Jones. Okay. Joe Burrow. Is he injured or not? I mean, I looked on the list. It's not showing he's injured, but I thought he got hurt in that game. Didn't he get
Uh,
hurt?
he's fine. I mean, he got a little nicked up, but at the very end, he's fine.
Okay. So just okay. And then here we go. We talk about the Bears and the Jaguars, 35-16. Bears lit the Jaguars up. They improved their record to 4-2. Jaguars 1-5. That I can't explain what's going on down there. Um, Ingram finally come back as a tight end. He just got off of the IR thing, come back, returned, and he did pretty good for Jacksonville. 10 receptions, 102 yards. The Cardinals, they lost Marvin Harris. He's on protocol, concussion protocol. Jordan Love is finally getting his little niche back. Threw
I
for
I
2.
would say more than a niche. I mean,
He
he
had
kind
2
of
to well, I mean,
he
he threw
carved up he carved that damn defense up.
yes, he did. 258 yards, 4 touchdowns. I did like to see Trey McBride get a little bit more involved in the Arizona. He had 8 receptions,
I mean,
96 yards.
I'll be glad when he actually scores a touchdown that doesn't involve him recovering a fumble in the end zone.
That's true. Joe Flacco still tosses the ball around. Oh my God, 2 touchdowns. They Colts beat the Titans 20-17. Pollard had a decent running game. Downs, probably one of his better reception days. I mean, he had 7 receptions, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Probably looked really good in fantasy points.
Well, yeah.
And then the Texans just lit the world up. So Texas decided to put Patriots in their spot, 41-21.
Well, I think their passing game just improved when Joe Mixon came back.
Oh God, yeah. Joe Mixon came back with 13 carries, 102 yards. I'm happy to see you back on 2 of my fantasy teams. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I really mean that from my heart. Thank you. Drake May, I think he looked better than Jacoby. I mean,
I mean, he threw 3 touchdowns against the Texans defense. So, I
yeah, I
mean,
mean,
that's
to
something.
me, I thought he was the better quarterback. I don't understand why we didn't start him in the first place, but
Because, coaches
yeah,
be coaching.
yeah, whatever. Baker Mayfield, still being Baker Mayfield. 51 points, the man's
No,
lighting it up.
he is now. I've heard this from a different podcast, but I'm taking it from them as well. He is now known as Laser Mayfield.
And I could agree with that. He is a laser. He was a laser back then. How about Texas taking his jersey, putting it in the middle of the field and stamping the flag in it after they beat Oklahoma?
I
That
find
now that's a grudge holder right there. The man's been gone for how many
I find
years?
that I find that hilarious. It's been
I
like
do.
it's been 10 years now,
Yeah, they
basically.
can't forget the Baker Mayfield days. They're like,
Did you
that's a
see?
nightmare.
Did you
I mean,
see the
as
comment that Baker Mayfield said?
yeah. And I look at it like as an Ohio State guy. He came to Ohio State and did that to us too. So I do understand the resentment to the guy, but I also respect the player.
Yeah, but I don't see y'all taking a Baker Mayfield jersey and putting it in the middle of the field and stabbing it.
No, because we beat Oklahoma the next year. So it's like we got our revenge. We were good.
Right. So I mean,
Uh yeah, they literally picked the Saints apart, and that was what a game. And Godwin, when are you gonna stop, man? You're too old for this. Come on. 11
he,
receptions,
okay,
125
okay, yeah,
yards, 2
he
touchdowns.
he's not that old. Let's calm down a little bit.
Oh, he's older than most of the receivers out there.
He's not that old now.
Now,
Come on.
no, hold on. Before you go into that conversation, let's talk about this. This guy right here irritates me.
He's
I've
saying
sat here and I've hoped for Sean Tucker to become a running back. I've put it so much draft capital and so many trades to get this guy on my bench and my taxis.
I remember that.
And then this year, I finally had to come to concessions saying it's hopeless. And then here he goes in this game, 14
Yeah,
carries,
yeah,
136
but yeah,
yards, and a touchdown.
yeah, but you also gotta look at it like this. Rashad White was out.
I know. And that's not going to be a regular thing, but
And Chris Godwin is 28 years old. He is younger than Chris Mike Evans. So
oh, yeah, I knew that.
let's just chill out on how old he is now.
28 is old for the
Yeah,
NFL wide receiver. Usually 30, they start falling off.
yeah, but
So
I mean,
statistically, they start. I mean, Godwin last year was injury prone. Godwin did not put up the numbers he's putting up. So it's amazing to see him being healthy, doing what he's doing, is what I'm saying. I'm
you
not
know,
criticizing his age. I'm saying I'm happy to see he's doing so well.
what do you think Chris Godwin finished in the wide receiver rankings for fantasy? Don't look it up. Just guess.
Right now, though, if I remember correctly, he'd probably be in the top 5 or top 4.
He finished as a wide receiver one
I wouldn't doubt it.
this week.
Yeah, so I'll be going over that in just a minute with the list. So, I mean, yeah, I knew he was up there. I mean, he's been up there since the start of the season. He's been in the top 10. He's not dropped out of the top 10 as an overall scorer. So, as a wide receiver, as an individual position, he had to be number 1, number 2, or number 3. I mean, I know he was jockeying positions with some of the other, well, Malik Neighbors was one of them. But now Malik Neighbors is what, 2 games miss? So, he's
Yeah.
probably out of the rankings now. The
Oh,
charge
no doubt.
Yeah, the Chargers and the Broncos. Ugh. Chargers look decent.
That
They
was the best passing game Justin Herbert had.
I actually watched a little bit of that game, and I did see Justin Herbert come back a little bit, and I liked how J.K. Dobbins was running the ball. He was doing his thing.
I think him and that receiving core is connecting a little bit more, and they're starting to get used to each other.
So even with the swap at quarterbacks at the Raiders, it's still not the answer. But Aiden O'Connell didn't do too bad. I mean, well,
The
27.
answer is
Eh.
apparently the answer to them is to trade away Devontae Adams.
Yep, and we're going to get into trades in a minute.
Yeah, because
So,
there was another big wide receiver I got traded today too.
yep, Amari Cooper. So the Lions and the Cowboys. Okay. Wow. The only sad thing about this game is Aiden Hutchinson. What a run up until this point.
What
And
do
I
you
hated to
do?
see that injury. And I try to watch the replay of it, and it's kind of not good to watch. And it's like,
I don't know who you're talking about. The only sad part of that game is, but you clearly just don't understand how devastating this is.
well, I know for you it is because you're a Cowboy fan, and I feel for you. So I was not going to rub it in on you today because I figured that would be the polite thing to
If
do.
I were you, I wouldn't, because there's going to come a day where one of your teams is going to get just shit
Yes.
on, and
That's why I'm showing a little bit of respect. But it was horrifying. You guys, a little fact check, maybe it might be wrong, but I think I remember reading that this is the worst loss that the Cowboys had since the loss they had right before Jerry Jones bought the team. So,
well, I know it's the worst loss at home.
yes, David Montgomery, 12 carries, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. CD Lamb was the only hope that the Cowboys had, and he couldn't really do nothing with it.
Well,
And Goff just lit the whole field up with 315 yards and 3 passing touchdowns.
we have so much going on right now. There's a
Right.
lot of there's a lot of animosity in the locker room. We got an owner who can't keep his filthy hands off of any damn thing and actually let people do their jobs.
I thought you were going to say he was touching other things. I was like, that's common in the NFL, in the music industrial. It sounds like we're always touching people.
No, if I really wanted to, I would have already done said a lot worse, but YouTube would ban this video, so I'm not gonna do that.
I appreciate it.
So,
And I don't feel like editing that much. So let's
but
keep it clean.
we
Uh,
we ain't got we don't have a run game. We Our defense is just ass. Like it is just atrocious.
yes.
And you know what the answer was is to sign CD Lamb and Dak to a big ass damn contracts that
Now,
now
in your defense right now is struggling not because it's not talented. It's due to the fact of injuries. The team is plagued.
even with Micah Parsons and Demarcus Lawrence, we were still giving up big passing yard numbers.
I know, but
We could stop. Well, and the crazy thing is, we couldn't even stop the run. We can't stop the run. We can't do nothing.
yeah. So
All hope,
go,
all hope is lost. Fuck this shit.
yeah. So to move on and get off of that sad train, we're gonna jump on the Falcons train. Kirk Cousins really doing his thing down there.
Yeah, he's cooking.
Algier had a good game. Let me tell you guys, don't get your hopes up if you're an Algier guy and you have him on your team. Bijan is still the guy. It just happened to be this game.
Yeah, but I do think that if you need an emergency flex spot,
Oh, he's good to play.
he would be in my top 5 of top flex spots I would put in.
Yeah, so like in a case of that, I have a buy and I'm low on running backs and Algier's on my team. I'm playing Algier no matter what because I don't know what I'm going to get, but at the end of the day, I know I'm going to walk away with something.
You're gonna
Panthers, on
get
the other hand, is still a nightmare. Uh, they're 1-5. The only win they had was I don't know. We're not even going to get into that.
they're
The only
going
thing, the only
they're
thing that
going for a quarterback.
as a fantasy related thing, Johnson finally did something. 6 receptions, 70 yards, 78 yards, and 1 touchdown. So that's pretty impressive. Then we're going to go into the Bills and the Jets. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, that trade just happened. Yeah, Aaron Jones is getting Devontae Adams. But at the end of the day, Jet, and I just don't see that Aaron Jones is going to be your savior and he's going to win you a Super Bowl. I think you guys wasted your money, wasted your time.
Yeah, but what about Ray Davis though? That
Oh
was
yeah,
he was great, wasn't
yeah.
he?
But I draft all your players, Jets. I draft Garrett Wilson. I draft Brees Hall, but I will not draft Aaron Rodgers.
Boy, I'm
And
glad I didn't grab none of them.
and I got Lazard on a few teams as like a flex guy, which I have played. And lately, he's worth playing. Like I've actually changed him from a flex to a normal flex guy because of the
Well, in
Aaron Rodgers in love with him. I mean, he throws the ball to him every time he turns around.
the past 3 weeks he was targeted 8 times, 9 times, and then 7 times last night. So
Yeah,
I mean, he lo- he loves him some Alvazar, but I see that trend ending though with
yeah.
Devontae Adams coming to town because that's really Aaron Rodgers' best friend right there.
So right now, you got some trades going on. The trade deadline for the NFL is 4 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, November the 5th. Uh,
It's week 10,
yes. So,
either week 9 or week 10, but it's in between them weeks.
yeah, well, November the 5th is the deadline. 4 p.m. after that time, you can't trade no more.
Right. Well, I'm just letting people know what week that is because some
Yeah.
people don't. Some people just don't look up the date and see what
No, they don't.
that.
But things got started with the Seahawks traded to the Jaguars for defensive tackle Roy Robinson Harris on October 14th. The Jets' biggest splash was they landed Devontae Adams. Good God, I'm sorry, man. I did not mean to say your name wrong. And then the shocker trade that I didn't see coming, but it made sense, is the Bills need a wide receiver. And
So
they were really riding on that Keelan Colin guy, but he just wasn't it. And they reached out and they got Amari Cooper in the
the
Cleveland
crazy
Browns.
thing is, the crazy thing is, look, I get okay. So I understand the whole. I don't understand. I didn't understand the whole trading away Stephon Diggs as a team standpoint.
I
I
do. I
understand.
do.
Well, hang on, I'm not done. I understand why they did trade him away because of how he was acting and stuff. I get that part, but then we're gonna go and turn around and we're gonna grab another, which they needed. At the same time, at my point, I was like, couldn't you just like try to make a resolve with Stephon Diggs and keep him in the Bills instead of trading him off? Because if you look at a happy Stephon Diggs, I mean, look at him. He is just still producing.
I don't think at the Bills there was ever going to be a situation after whatever occurred, a happy Steve on Diggs. Something had to occur in that locker room that we're not aware of, a situation for that to occur. Because I think there was a few times they wanted to trade him beforehand and they kind of held back. I think there was a boiling point, and when that boiling point hit, there's points in life where you can't turn back and say, "Oh, I can accept this, and this is how it's going to be." So no matter what the Bills did, I don't think it was ever going to work. And I think the best
Money
thing,
talks.
and it wasn't just money. I think it was more than
I'm just
money.
saying, money talks.
Yeah, well, money got involved because other teams got involved, but at the end of the day, there was also personal issues. Because I've known people to take pay cuts and leave places just because they can't wake up and go in the next day. And it happens in life. There are certain things that you just can't deal with. Now, Stephon Diggs didn't have to do that. He got
Well,
paid.
he basically ran himself out of 2 towns, so we'll see how long it takes for him to run himself out of Houston.
I think he's scared of Nico Collins. He's a bigger guy. But Mari Cooper is going to do well at the Bills, I believe. I believe Mari Cooper is a little bit more cool headed. Um, maybe I might be wrong. I've seen
No,
him at. I've seen
you
him.
are. I've watched him play when he was in Dallas, and he was never really see him through temper or anything.
I
So,
seen him at the Raiders. You remember when Pac-Man threw him down to the ground and grabbed him by the face mask and started a defensive guy try to
yeah,
smack his head? He didn't even get upset then. I mean, he's just a cool headed guy. I mean,
yeah, because I
uh,
think he just doesn't care.
yeah, but he's a good player. So I do hope it is an answer for the wide receiver room for the Buffalo Bills. We all know about the Jets and the Adams. I don't think it's going to really make a difference. I thought it was great that the Jets granted the holdout to defensive end Riddick permission to seek a trade. I guess that means he's no longer getting penalized for not showing up. Good for him.
I do think it's gonna be bad for it's gonna be a little bit bad for Garrett Wilson though, because of all these targets he was getting for the past 2 weeks. He was just getting because he had 22 targets the week before this past week.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is going to pretty much shut him out. I do not see him getting the receptions or the passes as Alan Lazard and Devontae Adams. These are Aaron Rodgers guys from Green Bay. And with them two on the same field, I don't see I see Alan Lazard falling off. I see Devontae picking up.
Because so against Minnesota, he had 23 targets, and then just last night he had 10 targets. So he's been getting plenty of targets, but now I honestly can see that dip down when since Devontae is there.
So so going to the top 10, I didn't really number this today, so I gotta
You got
highlight
it.
it.
You got this.
I got this. So rounding off the top 10, again, finally running back was knocked out of first place because Alvin Kamara pretty much held that spot for the longest time. Well, he is finally knocked down to third. And the guys that took the lead is who else in the quarterback rooms? Lamar Jackson, a dual threat, and the laser beamer,
Laser
Baker
Mayfield.
Mayfield, or whatever
Hey,
you want to call them.
you need a whenever you get your soundboard figured out.
Yeah.
We need to get a laser a sound effect for whatever time we call his name. You can hit it.
It does have a laser effect on it.
Oh,
It's called
that's great.
Zap. It goes zing.
Hey,
Yep.
as long as it involves the laser, we're good.
Yeah. And then the next one rounds off the fourth spot is Jaden Daniels with 136.4 points. And then Derrick Henry, second week again in the top 10. And he's your right under, yeah. So he's 5. The 6 is Chris Godwin, which we just talked about. He's the number 1 wide receiver. Joe Burrows finally got in the top 10. And the other wide receiver up there with Chris Godwin is Jamar Chase. He is finally pulling through.
Thank
Getting the
God.
top. Yeah, I know. And then
I've been struggling with him on my fantasy team until the past 2 weeks.
and let's put on the brakes about all the rumors you're hearing about Pittsburgh, guys. I don't know if I just closed you out or not. Here, hold on. Let me explain something to you guys. Yeah, they activated Russell Wilson as a backup, and we might see him start a game. But Josh Allen and Justin Fields round off the top 10. Justin Fields is a very efficient quarterback right now.
Did you hear what Mike Tomlin said? He
No,
made
I
a
did.
quote.
I
He
did.
made a quote today that said he was like they were asking about the quarterback change, and they were asking him questions about it. And the main thing he said was like, "Well, he's like, well, stats are for losers, so we're gonna go with who we think's gonna win football games."
Oh, ho, ho. Yeah. Well, he probably said that because he was watching my show.
because because they threw up, like, oh, Justin Fields is like 4-2, with the Steelers and stuff.
Well, not that. He's got a passing rate of 66. Um, he's right up there. I mean,
They're like, yeah, I know their defense is the biggest part of the reason why they're winning, but I mean, when you still got a guy who is doing what he was doing, even though it's not like Lamar Jackson levels or Jaden Daniel levels, obviously, but I mean, they're still winning. I mean, I quite frankly don't understand it, but Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season in like 17 or 18 years. So who am I to judge?
right. And I don't think he's really going to swap out because Mike Tomlin talks riddles. So he says things and does the opposite the next day. You're like, oh, whoa, what just happened? But he does. He does things to win games, and he's winning games right now. So whatever he does it because he knows it's going to benefit his team. He might have a trick play where he starts Russell Wilson, throw the team off, and then throw Justin Fields out
Oh,
there. You
so
never.
I real quick, I know this is like Madden and college terms or whatever, but so what if you can make a play, but it's like you do a flea flicker and then you like pitch it to you give it back, the running back gives it back to Russell Wilson, but then he just tosses it over real quick to the other side of the field with Justin Fields. And Justin Fields has like two or maybe three options down the field that he could throw it to.
Oh, that would be a crazy play.
All right. Anyways, back on football.
Anyways, so let's not forget, yeah, even though Aiden Hutchinson went out, he was your top defensive player. Don't worry. There's a defensive player out there that takes his place, and that's Fred Warner for San Francisco. He
I can see that.
right now ranked 12th. He's right below Geno Smith. Geno's the first one out of the top 10. And then right underneath him is our favorite wide receiver, Nico Collins. And then the next wide receiver, Jaden Reed, and then Brock Purdy, and then Kyle Murray, and then Barkley comes right in right behind them at 17. 18, Drake London. 19, CJ Stroud. And then our next defensive player at 20, Robert Spillman for the Las Vegas Raiders, which them two has been in the top 25. And then right behind them, rounding off the top 20, you got Stephon Diggs. So guess what? Houston still has two. Now get a load of this. Now this is, guys, statistically, this is like one of these things that me and Austin talked about in the summer. So it's exciting to see because really we debated if it could even happen. And here we are watching it happen. So it's a great debate. We did not think two wide receivers from the same team would be in the overall scoring in the top 25. And here you got two Houston wide receivers, Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs, in the top 25. One's ranked in the top 10 or right outside the top 10, and the other one's ranked 21. So, I mean, as long as they keep playing like they're playing and CJ Stroud keeps passing that love around.
Nico Collins needs to get back healthy.
And okay, for you Bears lovers, I am going to concede for a moment. And I did this a little bit last week. I tried to take some of that away.
Come on now.
But with him playing like he did against the Jaguars, I give him a little bit more credit. I was glad to see him move up.
He has been getting better every week.
Yeah, well, he finally scooted up into the top 25.
You have to admit that. You have
Yes.
to admit that he has actually been getting better every week. Since the beginning of the year, I've watched him, and I've seen different aspects of his game just improve. So, you know, I know we're still early in this, and I know it's just Jacksonville's defense, but he's growing. He looks like he's growing.
Right, he is. And there's something I got to check on this guy because I don't understand where he came from. Because he wasn't there in the beginning of the season. So I got to see his game stats.
Oh, who might that be?
Paulson Abdilbu for Paulson, Paulson, Adebo. He's playing for the Saints defensive back. He's in the top 25.
Oh yeah, that dude, he's been playing pretty good lately.
Yeah, so he started off good off the bat. He's just out the gate going good. Let's see what his last year stats were. His last year stats was hit and miss. He was played some, didn't play any.
No, he's doing really good this year though.
Yeah, 22, same thing. He hit and miss. So he's steady now. Yeah, so I wasn't expecting that defensive back up there, but he is he rounds off the top 25. So
right.
Karen Williams is right above him as a running back, and Garrett Wilson's above him. And then you have Caleb Williams and then Stephon Diggs at 21. So Stephon Diggs at 21, Caleb Williams at 22, Garrett Wilson at 23, Karen Williams at 24, and Paulson at Paulson at 25. And then Dak Prescott still looking in, but he's still right there hanging.
He needs to be off.
26. Don't say he needs to be gone. He's not ready yet.
I want him to be ready.
You want him to be ready. I hate to see Malik Neighbors fall down so low, but it's injury is what knocked him down. He is down to 42. Longer he sits out, he'll be out. TJ Watts is still ranked 3 as a defensive line and 45 as a linebacker, and he is still in the top 30. He's right. Well, he's the first player that jumps out of the 50. Daniel Jones rounds off the top 50. Yes, Daniel Jones of New York Giants is in the top 50 for scoring. But most of the time, all your quarterbacks, even the lower end, should be in the top 50 as overall because quarterbacks score the most.
Yeah, makes sense.
So even if like if you go rating wise for Daniel Jones, you know what his ranking is as a quarterback? 32.
Well, last time I checked, there was only 32 starters in the NFL.
Well, there's some people ranked ahead of starters that are just started just a few games, like Joe Flacco and stuff. That's crazy. Sam Arnold dropped a little bit, but still playing a good game. There's a 64% pass rate. He had an 86.5 points total in fantasy. So
Well, he also had a bye week too.
Yeah, he had a bye week.
So I can see him getting back up there.
Oh, I definitely see him jumping back in there. I mean, and Mixon being back is great, but he's questionable again. James Cook is out for Buffalo. I don't know how long. Aaron Jones is still out. Bijan is out. Jonathan Taylor, this is the second week he's out. Devon A. Chain's out. Ramon Stevenson's out. My God. Oh, ETN's. Oh, he's questionable now. He's not out. He was out.
He got hurt.
Yeah,
he got hurt. In the beginning of the game. He pulled his hamstring, and he didn't return back in the game, so he didn't really do much.
Yeah, Ford's out for Cleveland. Rashad White's out. Delvin Singletary's out.
Well, you know what? I have an idea.
Spears is questionable.
I have an idea. We can actually. You named off a lot of them, but we'll also go into more of the injuries when we do our pick'ems and stuff. Because there's a couple of games that's going to very determine, to my opinion, it's going to determine which way I go. If certain people are in or certain people are out.
So let's do that real quick. Let's go to next week. So
all right. So hang on real quick.
let me
Since
pull it up.
We're gonna be doing something different this week, and obviously we're gonna be doing our pick'ems as we do this too. But while we're doing our pick'ems, we're gonna go ahead and also give you one good start in that game and one sit that you need to sit in that game as we talk about the schedule. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that. Well, I'll wait till you get yours pulled up first.
Yeah. So this week,
You got week 7.
week 7. So
All
we
right.
got Denver against New Orleans.
All right, so yeah, that's gonna be a Thursday night game. All right, now they got they actually have it looks like they actually have Denver a little bit favored.
Yeah, I mean, because what's oh God, he's out still. Quarterback Carr is
So
still out.
yeah, so and if you look at the hit injuries, that's not only questionable, but also that are already out. It's bad.
Olave's out. Chris Olave for Saints are out.
Not to mention Shaheed.
Yeah, Shahid's out. So I mean,
He's questionable
oh,
right
he's
now. He's
questionable.
questionable. So, and their defense is just ate up in you know, in injuries and stuff. So that's
I'm gonna
so
tell you right now, for the Saints, looking at their quarterback situation, because Taysom Hill's out, Derek Carr's out. The only reliable guy on this team currently is Alvin Kamara.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you my pick. I'm going to have to go with Denver, just due to the fact that the injury, with all these injuries they got for the Saints, and you know, Bo Nix, he's been actually pretty decent here lately. So unless a bunch of people during the week start coming back in, but as of right now, It's a Thursday night game. I really don't see a lot of these people coming back in, so I am going to have to go with the Broncos on that one.
Yeah, I would have to go with the Broncos too. I would recommend to stay away from as much of the
So,
Saints as you possibly do.
right, but who is your starter? Who would you start in this game?
I mean, right now, Cortland Sutton from Denver.
Mine, mine was going to be Alvin Kamara.
Well, yeah. I mean, them both are given right there. If you ain't got them on your starter anyways, you're not doing right.
So now, who's your sit?
I mean, what is there to sit? I mean, backup players, I'm not going to name them. I
Would
mean,
you,
all your guys are out.
let me ask you this: Would you be willing to play Spencer Rattler in this game?
No, I would not even think about it. That's a mess right there.
Okay, so give
That
me
would definitely sit him. I would not play him. I would not recommend to play him.
okay, well, give me your sit then.
Spencer Rattler.
Is that
One,
your sit?
yeah, that's my sit.
Mine would be Javante Williams.
Yeah, I think you have better hope with John Tamani Williams than you do with Spencer Rattler.
But
But
no, I know Spencer Rattler scores more than Javante.
yeah, that's true.
And say what you will, I know they got blown out last week, but it's the Buccaneers, so what do you expect?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But Spencer Rattler actually didn't do that bad.
All right, let's move on to the next one. I know. All right, so New England and oh wait, we're going both Denver, right? You're picking Denver.
I'm going Denver.
I am too. I'm going Denver over the Saints.
All right, so now this is the London game. Now, mind you, so
Yes.
we got the New England Patriots going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So this is all my hint right now. Just let me get it out for you. Drake May needs to start. If you had him sitting on your bench, you need to put him out there. I think he'll do well.
So you're already claiming that as your starter.
Yes, if I had him as a quarterback, I'd put him in. Unless I had like a greater starter than him.
I think he's a great. I think he's a great waiver wire addition this week.
Yes.
I don't care who your starter is. I would definitely snag him because against the Houston defense, he actually played really well.
Yeah. So if you got Caleb Williams, because he's on a bye, if you have Dak on a bye, go out and get Drake May. Put him on the team.
So my start, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my start. My start would actually be Demario Douglas. He's actually gonna be your he's gonna be connected to your start for this game. So
Yes.
since Drake May started, Demario Douglas played
Right.
really good last week. He was Demario Douglas actually finished the wide receiver 8 of the week, and he was targeted 9 times. That that just tells me that that's one of Drake May's targets right there. Now, who would be your sit in this game? Like you're worried about?
Trevor Lawrence is a hit and miss. So if you're playing Trevor Lawrence as your quarterback, I would definitely be hunting for something different.
I would actually sit him this week.
Yeah.
If I had a different option, I would definitely sit him due to the fact that that defense is better than what people expect. All right, now who are you going to go with?
I definitely gonna pick New England over Jacksonville.
Oh, really?
Yep.
All right, so the next game we have the Seattle Seahawks going up against the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I'm struggling on that.
You
I am.
know, I'm gonna go ahead and I know this defense is a little bit better.
Are they playing at Seattle or are they playing at
No,
Atlanta?
they're playing in Atlanta.
Well, that makes me lean more towards Atlanta
I, people need to. I think people should really play Darnell Mooney this week.
and Algier running back.
Right. Well, I definitely went. I went with Darnell Mooney due to the fact that Devin Witherspoon is probably going to be up against Drake London, and he's pretty good. So I can
Yes.
see them targeting Darnell Mooney. Now, who do you got somebody that you would sit in this game, or because you're worried about this week?
No, I don't
Yeah.
have anybody on these two teams.
Okay. Okay. Honestly, I to be honest with you, I really don't either. I would play majority of the people in this game. Now, who are you gonna go with?
I am picking Atlanta.
Oh, you're picking Atlanta. I'm
Yeah.
ta- I'm taking Atlanta.
I thought he was out. No, he's not out. I'm sorry. I gave you wrong information.
Yeah,
Bijan.
but yeah, but even Bijan wasn't out last week, and Algier still did good.
Yeah, but Bijan scored double than Algier. So
Yeah, but you said a flex spot, and somebody needs
yes.
a really good flex spot. Algier's pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. I would play Algier still in a flex spot
Okay,
because the way the
so
run game's going.
right, so okay, we're gonna move on to the next game. We have the Tennessee Titans going up against the Buffalo Bills, and they just got Amari Cooper. So I thought about my starts and sits before the trade happened, but after the trade happened, I had to switch some things around, and I highly suggest you start Amari Cooper.
You should be a starting Amari Cooper even if he was at the Browns. I mean,
Uh, yes, but that was also a very scary situation. But now I'm not so scared anymore. I can do it in confidence.
yeah. I would have been starting him anyways, or at least putting him in a flex spot, like I put JSN in a flex spot a lot of times. That's a good flex wide receiver to have out there to score.
So, do you have a starter you would recommend in this game?
Just your well, Ray Davis. I mean, James Cook ain't gonna be back, and that I did verify. This time I got that one right. A minute ago I got the Bijan wrong, but James Cook is out. So Ray Davis is your next guy up. He should do pretty good.
Okay. Now, so with that being said, there is one guy that I'd be kind of concerned with of starting now, and everybody just needs to stop. Well, Will Levis is not good.
Oh,
He's
I
not.
don't I don't know many people that are starting him.
Well, I mean, I have to say that I had to start him last week, but I also had Matthew Stafford on the bye.
Yeah. So
So
why
that's
do you even have Will Levis on your team?
because I got a first round pick out of a trade. So I took what I could get.
Okay. So let me get this straight. You got a Will Levis with a first round in a trade. So you took a
Yes.
Will Levis part of the package to get a first round. Okay, that's I can understand that. I would
So yes, I had a first rounder, but Will Levis had to come with it. And I just bit the bullet and I took what I wanted.
I would have took it too. Okay. I
I
could
just
because I was really shocked when you said
because
you had
look,
Will Levis on your team. I
I
was like,
because look, I just needed a body. I didn't I didn't need it to be functional. I just needed it to be a body.
I hate having them bodies that are not functional. I try to get rid of them, but
Right?
there's so many of them that
I
sometimes in these
under,
crazy trade deals, you have to
I
accept them.
I under
Oh,
I understand, but my 2025 draft is gonna look glorious. But anyways,
all right.
I would definitely not start Will Levis. I would do anything you can to find something else. Obviously, I'm going with the Bills.
All right. And then next one, and I'm going with the Bills too. Next
So
one is Cleveland against Cincinnati, and I'm taking the hot Joe Burrow with the Jamar Chase running it down. And let me tell you, my start, I'm going to give you my start, and that's that Chase Brown running back for Cincinnati. He shouldn't be sitting on your bench. He should be playing in a flex spot or in a running back spot. He's been doing his numbers. He's been doing his thing. Definitely a good guy. Your sits in this game. Let me look. I'll tell you who you need to sit for the Cincinnati. Uh, you definitely need to be sitting Jake Browning because that's the backup quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. That was too easy.
You need to sit Zach Moss and you need to start Chase Brown.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You should be starting Chase Brown anyways. Um,
And everybody needs to keep a lookout because Nick Chubb is coming back. And now,
I,
obviously, we have to. I'm not saying
and
start
Ford is out. Ford is out. So
right.
if Chubb comes back, if I'm a guy and I have him and he just come off IR, I would put him in a flex position for this reason. The Browns have nothing. The guy that they did have is hurt. And now they
Right.
got him. I mean, he's going to come out. I'm just have a feeling if he could get through that Cincinnati defense, which is not that
So
tough.
you think that Nick Chubb is just going to come out swinging?
I think he might. He might be ready.
I You're a little bit more bullish than me because I would actually wait a week and see how he looks before I just shotgun him out there. But you
I've
know,
done that before and regretted it.
you've
J.K.
always
Dobbins is a great example.
I would eat that loss for that 1 week just to make
Yeah.
sure that I get it right.
So you remember J.K. Dobbins went out. He always got hurt. And then, like, as the next game he come back in, he'd score 31 points. It's like, how did I miss that? And he did it every time. But the problem is after he scored that 31 points, he got hurt again. It's like, why? So you like only had one shot, one go. And I think Nick Chubb could possibly come out the gate doing the same thing, and hopefully not, because we don't need to see no more injuries. My God.
Mm. So obviously, I'm pretty sure we both agree with we're going with the Bengals.
Yeah, we're going with the Bengals on that.
So
And
this one, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was looking for Chubb, but he's so far down on the list. I got to type his name in because he has not scored this year.
Right.
So
So
he's still
like
listed on the pulp. Did
I
they
know.
release? Oh, week 7 returning.
Right. So I don't. This next game is going to be very interesting because it's the Houston Texans versus the Green Bay Packers, and I think that one's going to be a slugfest.
It's going to be a slugfest, but I am going with the Houston, the top 225 wide receivers. You guys should be playing Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins. And don't forget about the great
No,
Tank Dell.
no, don't be starting Nico. He's on IR.
Oh, yeah. Nico is on IR. I forgot about that. Oh, God, thank you.
Well, you
But
should definitely start Jalen Reed.
yes, you should start Jaden Reed. Should start Stephon Diggs.
Joe Mixon.
Joe
Yeah.
Mixon, questionable. Even though he's questionable, I would start him.
Oh no, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's definitely fine. I wouldn't worry about him.
So if Nico Collins is still going to be out this game, I would highly recommend you guys start Tank Dell. Um, yeah,
And and if you're in a deep league, you can
Xavier
also do
Hutchinson's.
Xavier Hutchinson.
Yeah, that was another. That's a secret. That's a secret. Okay. Xavier is a good wide receiver, but he is behind a lot of great wide receivers. So, and then you say, well, they weren't great at one time. Well, they're great because CJ Stroud's there. Okay. So I would kind of like throw him in there because I mean, he could actually put up. What surprised me is seeing how much they're getting the ball to Cade Stovers and Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is the main guy, but Cade's been probably like hit and miss there. Not a whole bunch, but I mean,
He
I'd
had
like
2
to.
catches.
Yeah, I mean, the main guy is Schultz still.
Well, I mean, they got a lot of mouths to feed, so it was kind of hard to
Yeah,
get everybody. So yeah,
and
I,
on the defensive side, before we get off of this, don't forget about Derek Stingley or Jalen Petrie. Both of these guys, and Alzier. Alzier is another great defensive guy, constantly putting the numbers up. I mean, that
Yep.
defense right there, if you're in an IDP league and you got a Houston guy, you need to be playing them. I mean,
Right.
these are some
So
powerful defensive guys.
right. So I'm going Houston. Obviously, you said you were going Houston as well.
Right.
So the next game
Well,
is
before we go on, what do you think
okay.
about Harry Tudu? I mean, the guy from Alabama. He's
He's
been playing
a
on Heat.
linebacker.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty good for I mean, he's mediocre numbers. He come out the gate hitting really hard. He's kind of dropped off to like 9 points a game right now, but he did have that 31 and that 15. I mean, he's slowly getting up there, but I think Alzier kind of outshines him right now.
Well, not to mention Will Anderson there too. So
Oh yeah, who forgets about Will Anderson? Jesus Christ.
well, all right, we need to move on. The
Right.
next game is the Miami Dolphins versus the Indianapolis Colts. And ugh,
Anthony Richardson is not the guy you should be starting. He's out.
well, I think he will miss another game, and you'd obviously need if you have Joe Flacco, you definitely need to be starting him.
So
Uh,
it's a questionable about when Tua returns. There's been no announcement. If they say he's going to come back and play, but I don't think it's going to be this week. So don't get your hopes up. Miami's offense, I would just, I mean, the only thing worth playing is even Tyreek playing anymore. Is he?
he's there. It's just quarterbacks, I guess, just forget he's there.
And then A Chain, he's hurt. I mean, yeah, I just that's a scary situation. So yeah, I'm going to go with the. I'm definitely not going to be going for Miami. I'll be going for the Colts.
I went for the Colts
Um,
as well. So
I
if
am confused by one of the things I just seen on the Colts.
what's that?
Pittman. Okay, so if I read this right, it says active. Why would they write active by his name? Is he active now?
No, he's active, but there was this talks about him. You know, if he might have like a hamstring if Anthony Richardson starts, and he just waits until Joe Flacco gets back into it. But he's still active. There, I think nothing's wrong with him. He's fine.
Well, no, they literally have him listed on here as active. I'm confused. I've never seen that before. So I'm like reading this. Questionable, I understand. Doubtful, I get. Active, I got to read up on. I got to figure that one
Just
out.
letting you know he's active.
But he might not play. Okay.
You wanna you wanna know what's another good game?
Detroit and Minnesota.
Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings.
This game here will take Sam Arnold back up in the top 25. I think Detroit's coming off a high. They're losing one of their best pass rushers, Aiden Hutchinson. I think Sam Arnold is really clicking with Justin Jefferson. I believe I will choose Minnesota over Detroit.
I see your reasonings, but I think this is gonna be the first time the Vikings lose because that offense for the Lions is just clicking.
Yeah.
They're clicking on all cylinders. So you'd have to have a special defense to stop them, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I would definitely have to go. I'm going with the Lions, but
Yeah.
you basically need to be starting a lot of your major players here.
Yes.
Um, even and keep an eye. It says Aaron Jones is out right now, but I would still keep an eye on him, just in case. But I would play all your major players in here because clearly they're scoring points.
Yeah. So for time constraints, we're going to rush through the next couple games. So,
So
God,
you got the Eagles versus the Giants.
I don't know what to pick. I'm an Eagles fan, but well, with AJ Brown being back and everything, Devontae Smith is coming back too, right? So I would go with the Eagles.
I'm going with the Eagles too.
Yeah,
But I would still keep an eye out on my league neighbors. They've been wishy washy. He said they might come back, and then again they say he might miss another game. So
Yes, he's out right now, but yeah, they said it's a big doubtful that he'll
I
be back.
I definitely keep an eye on that. But the next game we've got the Raiders versus the Rams.
Rams are too plagued right now, and the Raiders is too awful. So I don't know how to pick a team like that.
I'm going with the Rams just because they look a little better.
I'll I'll go with you on that one. I'm gonna walk with you on that.
All right.
Carolina, Washington. I think Jaden Daniels will walk all over the Panthers.
Yeah, I will say for the Panthers though, you definitely need to start Chuba Hubbard,
Oh yeah, and Johnson,
Deontay
Monte
Johnson.
Johnson. You need to start him. He's starting to pick up on receptions.
Definitely start him as well. And
Yes,
so the next game we got is the Chiefs versus the 49ers.
right. And then
Um,
Chiefs had a bye week, so they're going to come back hot and spicy. But they
I,
just their luck has got to run out, and I think their luck is here. I'm going to go ahead and go with San Francisco. I just don't see them going 6-0.
I know as long as the refs are on their side, I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs. And the Swifties are very powerful. Um,
Are they
the
playing
next
at the Chiefs? Or are they playing at?
they're playing in San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco's going to take that game.
So the Sunday night game is the New York Jets versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers just because I can't stand the Jets. But
Even with the quarterback change for the Steelers.
I don't think it's a quarterback change. I just think it's a bunch of smoke being blown.
You think so?
Yep, I think so.
Well, I'm still going with the Steelers regardless because the Jets.
So if you believe it's not a smoke, then the best recommendation is you guys stay away from the Steelers quarterbacks.
I
That means
would because I would because I think they're really going to be given. They're going to let Russell Wilson start this week.
I don't think they are. I think I would play Justin Fields.
I I think they're going to start Russell. I mean, I think they are.
I think the hot laser man with sparkles and all is going to
And
come out.
and I'm going to bring up, of course, it's another double Monday.
Yeah,
So I don't know how you feel about double Monday games, but
I
I
like
kind
them. I really do. I like it.
of
I like this double Monday. This stuff they're doing.
the
Uh,
only reason why I like it is because YouTube TV, not a sponsor, but they let me have a multiple view. So I have like two games on at the same time. So that's the only reason why I like it.
well, you have the NFL package thing. That's why you get to do
Or
that. It's
I actually don't have that either. It's just on my basic YouTube thing.
it's on the basic YouTube. I thought you had to have the NFL thing to do that.
No, and no,
So you're
and
telling me if I just got basic YouTube, I would still have that function?
yeah, and I actually yeah because it's on. I do with college too.
Hmm.
I actually have 4 games on at the same time with college.
All right, so let's go to that.
Let's
Laser
go
beam Bakerfield. Uh,
Laser Mayfield.
I'm taking them. I think they're going to shut down Baltimore.
These two teams are hot right now,
Yep, and
but
I think
I'm gonna
Bakerfield.
I am going to have to go to the Ravens
Oh,
because let me ask you this question: what defense is going to stop Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry is not invincible. He has been stopped before, so I believe
Okay,
this is going to happen
so
today.
okay,
He's going to run his
this
steam out.
this you call human. He was running back. Then this is the whole year. He is RB 25 9 3 1 6 2. That is ridiculous. And I don't see that trend stopping. I think he's going to finish in the top 5 again. So I am going with the Ravens.
But you said he was what now? He was.
We'll go look at the game log for him.
I am. I'm looking at the game log, snap
And,
percentage.
and when he finished the weekly finishes,
I'm looking at the weekly finish.
I got a game log, and then it's got right here rank. And that way he finished that week. RB 25 9 3 1 6 2.
Oh, here we go. Oops, whoops! I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. You're looking down here. Oh, PPR. Yeah, he's overall 2 right now.
Yeah.
I still believe in his career he's not always ran that. So
Well, this is not his whole career. It's this year, baby. So
yeah,
the
it's not
train's
going to
gonna,
last
the
forever. I
train's
think.
gonna keep rolling.
Yeah, I don't think the train's going to keep rolling. It's going to get stopped that day.
Oh,
Moving on to the next
definitely.
one is Los Angeles Chargers are still going to be hot. Marvin Harris is going to miss another game, so I don't think the Cardinals are going to be anything. And they weren't anything with Marvin Harris there, so I just have feelings Chargers to me with Justin Herbert, J.K. Dobbins, Lad McConkey, all that. I believe they're just a lot stronger team.
Yeah, I went with the Chargers as well. Their Arizona's defense is it's bad. I would definitely start J.K. Dobbins and definitely start Luke McConkey or Lad McConkey.
Well, he's questionable right now, but I still believe he's going to play. I know he had
Uh,
a bye week. He didn't do as well coming back from the bye week. Joshua Palmer's another good start.
well, I know he was. I know he didn't really do much last week, but I will still keep an eye on Quentin Johnston though, because there was a couple weeks where he was actually the more targeted one. But
Well, neither
I would actually start McConkey, Palmer, and then Johnson.
they're really not even throwing to the wide receivers. Looking at this, I mean, what am I missing here? And they're all like low scoring 3 points,
Well, their offense,
5.
his passing game just now got good
Yeah,
this last week, so I can see them improving because them getting more acquainted with each other.
yeah. I'm sitting here looking at it right now. Yeah, the passing game's mainly going to the running back, Vidal. Uh, well, no, he's about same as rushing too, so it's kind of like a hit and miss. Dobbins. Yeah, I don't know. I would start Lad McConkey. He's your best bet. That's my opinion. You're
Hmm.
playing someone from that. So that covers our NFL side of pick'ems. We got one more thing to do. How many combined total points the Chargers and Arizona will have? I will go 52.
That's pretty high. Um,
But ain't I always high on that?
I'm just gonna go 38.
All right. All right. So rounding that off, get this this page back up here. Sorry, guys.
You gotta do the college pick'ems.
Yeah, we're gonna get that. We ain't gonna forget about our great college pick'ems.
No,
Uh college. Whoa, we're gonna get into that in just a minute. What a roller coaster last week. I am looking for the
I did pretty good on the college one.
I did too, only got 2 wrong. So
Oh,
week 7, remember, you got the Bears and the Cowboys. So if you have CD Lamb, Dak Prescott, Caleb Williams, get your replacement in there. Don't forget it's your responsibility. Um Looking at the college side, which is on a different app than the NFL. You do both apps. I only do one.
well, I'm only doing that one. The NFL one, I was doing two of them, but college, I'm only doing that one.
Oh, okay. So they're saying I'm on fire. I'm 38 and 31.
Well, hey, they tell me I'm on fire too, and I'm only off by one game.
So week 7, I got the Wisconsin pick right, 42-7 over Rutgers. Iowa, I picked correctly over Washington, 40-16. Penn State 33 over the Trojans. What a game. Pittsburgh over California Golden Bears. I picked Pittsburgh. They stayed undefeated. BY Cougars still undefeated. Beat the Arizona Wildcats. Washington State Cougars. Look at them Cougars. Tearing it up 25-17. The one that broke my heart. Oh, I was on the seat of my. I don't even know how to explain where I was at that night. I was there, 31-32. I picked Ohio State to win, and it was a devastating end, but it was a great game. LSU, I picked them over Ole Miss any day. Sorry, Lane Kiffin, you're not the guy. Iowa State Cyclones, I picked them over West Virginia Mountaineers. They dominated 28-16. The other game I got wrong is, for some reason, I thought Dion had it in him. I thought Dion was going to shut down Kansas State Wildcats. He didn't. They didn't. It was a good game, 31-28. It wasn't like Kansas City took it away. I mean, so let's see here. NFL, CA scores. So this week coming up is some big games coming up. I mean, we are in week 8. So that was the finish of week 7. There was a lot of good games that went on. Utah, Arizona State was a good game. Oregon, Ohio State was a good game. Yes, the South Carolina and Alabama game. What a thriller. I mean, Alabama up 14 and they lose the lead, and then Carolina looked like they were going to take it away, and then it ended up 27-25. Wow. Notre Dame, they are Notre Dame right now. They walked right all over Stanford. Texas, Red River, and we talked about earlier them stamping the flag in the middle with Baker Mayfield jersey. Georgia over Mississippi State. I was surprised. I really thought Georgia would have literally shut Mississippi State down, but it is what it is. Florida did lose to Tennessee in a nail biter. LSU, wow, beat Ole Miss. That was a good game. Clemson's doing Clemson's thing. So, I mean, there's some good games going on. Another good game was the California and Pittsburgh. That was a close game throughout the whole thing. And another good game, Purdue against Illinois. And Illinois pulled it out 50-49, a one-pointer. So that was exciting. So going into week 8 for Pick'ems, we're only going to do 10 teams. All right. So Miami over Louisville Cardinals. I'm going to take the Cardinals. I believe this is where the upset happens. Yes, every week I have picked against Miami. This week I can't be wrong.
Yeah. I'm going Miami.
Okay. Indiana over Nebraska. I think Indiana's going to stay undefeated. I think they're going to beat Nebraska. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going Indiana. I think they're playing too good right now.
Cincinnati Bearcats against Arizona State Sun Devils. I am going Arizona State Sun Devils.
Yep. So am I.
Raging Cajuns against Coastal Carolina. I am going Raging Cajuns, still on fire.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with them.
All right. Alabama versus Tennessee. I'm taking the Tennessee Volunteers.
I'm
Yes.
going Tennessee as well.
All right. Michigan against Illinois fighting. No, oh man, Illinois. Oh my God. I don't know. Michigan. I don't know if Michigan can win this. I mean,
I was going Illinois.
I am too. I'm going Illinois. Baylor against Texas Tech Raiders. I think the Texas Tech Raiders beat Baylor.
I do too.
I believe LSU will tear down the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Well, well, I thought Tennessee was going to handle that business against Arkansas, but I was wrong about that.
Yes.
I've seen crazy things, but I think LSU will get it done.
All right, this is a big game. Georgia against Texas, and I'm picking Georgia.
I gotta go Texas.
All right. And since I didn't give no love to Kansas State Wildcats last week, I am giving you all the love this week because I love them Wildcats. They're going to tear up them Mountaineers. And what do I think the Texas score is going to be? 3 points.
I went 62.
I'm just kidding. I didn't say 3, but you going 62, I'll say 58. All right. So I'm going to hit save. Oh, man, that's going to be a wild game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so right now, I mean, fantasies, like I told you, as the weeks go on, things change. I knew the quarterbacks would finally climb in the top 10 towards midseason. I was correct about that, and we see that. What I am surprised about is where Justin Jefferson is. I'm surprised that he has not climbed up as high as I expected him, even though, yeah, there was a bye week, but I mean, even before when they had bye weeks, he always stayed in the top 20. I mean, he's not. Nico Collins has done missed a whole game, and he's still top 20. I mean, and now I know talking next week, him being on IR in the next 2 weeks, we probably won't see two Texans in the top 20s anymore. It's going to be Stephon Diggs leading the room. What I'm going to do next week is highlight the injuries because you got Jonathan Taylor injured. There's so many injuries to cover. It's for defensive and offensive. It's like you lost some of the top players. Like when I say Aiden Hutchinson's out, he's out for 6 to 8 months. Um, some of these players are not out as long as that, but some are like day by day in this concussion protocol. Used to be just like one game. Now it's like adding up to more than one game. I mean, I guess the new requirements are harder to pass than what it was before because now you're seeing players miss 2 to 3 games after a concussion. And the last two concussions I seen by wide receivers were pretty hard hits. Malik Neighbors, this will be going on his second game if he's out, or third game. And Marvin Harris, this will be his first game, bowl game out. And then the possibility they're talking that he won't even come back the next game. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he got hit pretty hard too, which surprised me because when I seen that hit by Josh Allen in that one game, to me, he was completely out the way he laid on the field, but here he is playing. So
Yeah.
I guess they take them through a test. I don't know what the test is. I'm going to do some research and find out exactly what they do. But
You're right.
looking at the percentage for quarterbacks, whoa, I don't even know what I just did. Oh, here we go. Well, we gotta ignore the 100% guys. The best percentage right now is Jaden Daniels out there. It's at 75%.
You're right.
But I mean, it's just rough with all the injuries now. You just got to kind of sort through them and try to figure out who's out there on the waiver wire. My best suggestion is you go to the depth chart of the team, find out who the backup is, try to draft them, or not draft them, but pull them off the waiver wire, get them on your team because that is the only way you're going to survive during this point of the season. I mean, if you are suffering and you're plagued with injuries, you need to start getting ahead on the waiver wire. If it's fab money, you need to bid what you believe is a reasonable amount. If it's ordered setup, hopefully someone else don't pick them up. So I mean, it's like it's crazy how all this is unfolding. I would not be counting on Andy Dalton, would not be counting on Bryce Young. I'd be questionable about Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. Even though Justin Fields is in the top 10, there is some weird communications going on at Pittsburgh. Be cautious. I don't know what else to tell you if that's all you got playing. Try to stay away from Trevor Lawrence. He's a hit and miss. Daniel Jones, not so much great either. And then in the Las Vegas Raiders quarterback room, I would just stay away from that whole group too. Only play if you have to play them. That's going to be some of the rough things. And this coming up, Saints. You got Carr out, Taysom Hill's out. They're relying on Spencer Rattler. He did not look very good his first game out, and it could be the defense he went against. Let's see how he does this time around. I just kind of question it. I wouldn't like say, "Oh, that's my guy." I mean, I'd try to find something else. And if you have Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, and Patrick Mahomes, you need to be playing them. They don't need to be sitting on no bench. And if you have them and someone needs them, try to come up with a good trade. Try to give them to someone else.
Would you start Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow?
I would start Joe Burrow over Patrick Mahomes for points. Yes, the Chiefs win. I have no argument over that. But when it comes to fantasy points, Joe Burrow's on his rampage. So I would definitely be
Joe Burrow or Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield.
Okay, gotcha.
I love that's the facts right there. So, and if I had Lamar Jackson or Jaden Daniels over all them, so I have Jaden Daniels now, and I have Baker Mayfield now, and I start Jaden Daniels. I ride more on Jaden Daniels than I do Baker Mayfield, and I'm winning, so why not? In some leagues, I'm winning. Some leagues, not so much. I have CJ Stroud in some leagues, and I'm not winning in them leagues, but everybody else on my team is like laying out on a stretcher somewhere. Damn it. So, you guys, if you like the content, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Keep tuning in every Tuesday. Me and Austin is going to kind of work through some things, try to figure out what we're going to do in the future on how we're going to run the show. We'll definitely try to keep doing the recaps. We might change that up a little bit and cut back on the time on it. Try to give you more content on fantasy level points and starts and rankings, because rankings do matter. Even if you're like not a top scorer, you're still ranked high. So, I mean, so let's do the points right here real quick before we leave. I just found Justin Jefferson. Let me look for him again. Yeah. I got to type his name in. Find next. Not Justin Fields. There he is. So Justin Jefferson is still ranked number 1 overall as wide receiver. When I say he's ranked number 1, this is experts ranking him. And whatever mathematic equation they come up with, or however they put it together, I know it's stats and drafts and everything else, it gives them the ranking of the player and past history. He's still ranked number 1. Right now, he's 31 in points this year. Overall, now when I say overall, that's IDP, everything. So he's still worth anything. Any player in the top 50 is worth having on your team. That's the bottom line. This is fantasy. You're trying to score points. So if you're a player, no matter who he is in the top 50, you got a good player. It's players outside the top 50 that are less likely to do you well. But really, even top 100, I mean, even your top 100 players, I mean, you got to think about it. We talked about this before. It's like 660 some different kind of players you draft in a league. It's crazy how many players are actually used and how many are out there. So, I mean, your top 100 is still good overall ranking.
Yeah.
I mean, Max Crosby is the number 1 DL guy, right? And he is ranked 104 in points. But when I say he scored, his total points is 72. So, I mean, it's not bad. So, if you guys, he actually scores more than Najee Harris. Okay.
Najee Harris just finally had a good game.
Well, Chase Brown's been having a pretty steady game. His has been pretty steady, and he's higher up than Chase Brown for Cincinnati. I mean, Will Anderson scores less than him. Samuel scored less than him. There's a lot Koo, the kicker, scored less than him.
Well, I mean, one good game could catapult him up.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So if you guys like the content, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And what do you always say?
Make sure you share, because sharing is caring.
That's right. All right.